Welcome back, everyone. We are here with the last series before Lunar New Year. We have two of our bottom tier teams trying to fight their way into the playoffs positions. Luckily for them, VCS changed format, so it's rather easy to get there. They just need one win. We have Team Flash, who are sitting on one series win, and Rainbow Warriors with 0-1 games. Not even series, not a single game. So, Rebel, let's head straight into draft as that just off here. And let's see if the Rainbow Warriors on the blue side can finally revert this trend.
So let's talk quickly about why it is that Rainbow Warriors is around like a ton. So previous split, I cannot remember for Super Big Time Chickens got caught with problems, got kicked out of the VCS. As a result, there was an empty slot. Only one team got relegated from the VCS, which means 3 teams needed to qualify for the promotion tournament. So they had a tournament to decide which teams were going to qualify. Rainbow Warriors was one that qualified through that tournament and then won their way out over the other 2 teams that ended up qualifying through that tournament as well. So as it turned out, MBE, that was the team that ended up coming from VCS. They ended up winning their way through. And then Rainbow Warriors was the one that won the gauntlet with the remaining players that were left with the rest of the pool. This is to say, Rainbow Warriors is kind of pieced together for the most part. You can see they have some decent pieces. I mean, somehow they got their hands on Artifact. I don't know how they got that. Easy Love is not complete pushover at the bottom lane role, but they are still trying to figure out what their best lineup looks like right now, and as a result, they're still in a very heavy learning phase.
Yeah, the thing about this team is, you look at the names and don't look at the year we are on. Think, this team could be quite a good team in 2019. Then you realize it's 2024, and yeah, Sport hasn't been great since years. 11's in. I've seen better days. Same, definitely true for Artifact. So, unfortunately, the names are much bigger than their performances. But with these veterans, you can always hope for them to find form again somehow, to get back to their former glory. They know how to win games, especially Artifact on an MVP before. So, hopefully, they can show up today with this curious draft so far. First pick, Corky. Which I actually kind of like. It's a champion that can essentially win the game alone. Put Artifact, your biggest veteran, on this champion, and maybe he can carry you to a game victory.
Yeah, I agree with that sentiment. And talking on the other side of this, obviously Team Flash, Yashino has been a big piece of this team for, I think probably, is it 3 years now he's been on this team, and has been just a massive
4 years.
4 years now, yeah. He has been a player, but it feels like he's been a player coach, helping develop a lot of the youngsters, helping kind of get this team set into a place where maybe they can start to compete. We were looking for them to make that step this year. It seems like they're still a little ways out from it. The big differences are Puddin is slowly becoming a very, very, in my opinion, a stud in the bot lane. Jane has gotten a lot better and has developed into an absolute beast in the mid lane, where we're getting to the point where Jane is starting to push into maybe a top half mid laner. And I think even Sora has really heavily developed into a decent support. And so, to me, the bottom half of the map has not been the problem for Flash. Yashino and Drakthar are specifically, which is hard for me to swallow, unfortunately, as a pill, have been a bit more of a problem than I think Flash maybe wants to admit.
I think another big problem, which is kind of surprising considering they have Stark behind them and Yoshino, another super veteran. So their mid-game and late-game execution just lacking. If you look at their stats, they actually look like a top team. If you look at their early game stats, they have a 1.2k gold lead on average, with a win rate of 33% in game score, 3-6 right now. So they are very strong in the early laning phases. They are very strong in the first 15 minutes of the game. Then it all falls apart. So it's all about coordination. It's about setting up team fights. They've also played a lot of Nami, Milio. So, reminding us a bit of the Western struggles there. They get ahead early, but they then can't execute in the game. So maybe they should watch some games from Eddie to see what Lucian is supposed to do, because that was an amazing performance earlier today. Jax. This Jax could... it can't go jungle because of buy as well. So that's a blind pick top lane Jax. Other... surprising. We don't really see much blind pick Jax, and...
No. Okay, why are we picking Alistar blind into Sora here? Okay, if Taki is the evil support because he picks anything and he picks Gremlin champions, like Sora feels like the light version where it's like, okay, he's not villainous. What?
Yep. Yep. It's support in VCS.
Sora's not even the problem here, though. The thing is, like, Sora has so many champions. Sora plays like Soraka. Where in the hell is the champion pool for Sora here? You see Alistar picked, and they're like, what if we counterpicked ourselves in bot lane? For no... Where is that going? I was like, okay, Sora's set up for final pick. Sora's set up for counter pick. Let's go. They're going to play through bot lane, and they messed it. They picked Rel. Sick.
I mean, maybe that actually came from the mid and late game votes they've shown. Maybe they say, okay, we can't play for laning phase. It's just not working. We need engage, and yeah, Sora, you're gonna suffer in lane because you're gonna self counter pick with an engaged champion. But we need this for the late game team. Maybe that's the angle. It's a very curious one. Picking Rel into an open Alistar when there's so many options. You can even just go Braum, honestly, and just still win lane and have a little bit of a tankier support. They opt into one of the counter matchups, so let's see if Flash can climb out of the hole they dug themselves into for apparent reason.
Now, against Rainbow Warriors, I think the expectation is like they're not looking like maybe they're not giving or paying a bunch of respects to how talented this team may be. Because they haven't shown a ton of success yet. And so Flash doesn't worry that much about like, oh, you know, it's Rel and Alistar. Well, you know, Rel can just play a really muted laning phase and then become amazing team fighter like you're suggesting. It just is very strange for them to opt into that strategy as opposed to, you know, going for something a little more creative. And again, especially because of the improvements we've seen out of Sora this split. I think Sora's had a couple of really good games on very unique champions. And as a result, I'm seriously like, this is like one of the things that has gone well for you, so it's really weird that you're changing it up now. But that doesn't matter, as we are into game number 1 between Rainbow Warriors and Team Flash. Looking across the board, Sejuani's pretty unique, right? Have we seen a Sejuani in many places except right here?
Let me check my stats, but yeah, I feel like we haven't seen a lot of Sejuani so far. Sejuani with a Corki first pick just feels a little off to me as well, because there's no synergy between those two champions at all. You essentially just give up all early priority over objectives, especially when you look at the other side. Super strong melee triangle there with Akali and Vi and Jax all bring CC or some engage tool. So I'm a little bit scared for Rainbow Warriors early game. They're already the worst early game team in the league, and they're playing against a very good early game team in Team Flash. So not entirely sure if I agree with their choices here, but maybe their angle is okay. Flash is gonna beat us in early game anyway, so let's just pick scaling. And we know Flash is bad in late game, so maybe you can just team fight, play the game in a stupid way, and just try to win late game team fights to win the game. I don't hate it, but it's. You have no agency yourself if you play this way. It's just relying on the enemy team to mess up.
So, as it turns out, Sejuani's been picked a decent amount. I don't know what these... I don't know. Do you know what an LCS is? I don't know what secondary region that is, but it's been picked there a couple of times. Yeah,
first pick in the VCS, though. First
pick in the VCS. Yeah, it's been a little bit of VCS, a little bit, or LCS, my apologies, a little bit of LCS, a little bit of PCS, and a little bit of LJL, but that's pretty much it. Some of like the secondary like qualifier leagues here for Worlds have actually picked it quite a bit. Yeah, and all of them are, it turned out quite badly. There's only really one game that actually went well, which was against Shopify Rebellion, which is not the greatest sample size. So, but Spot has famously been good at Sejuani in the past. If I recall, this was one of his better champions back when he was playing in like 2019, and so maybe it's a comfort pick for him. Especially, I don't know. They grab the Corki, they say, hey, go ahead.
Look at these two team compositions and swap the two junglers. Isn't that much better?
Infinitely. Yeah, I mean, I was about to say, like, where are you getting your passive procs from if you're Sejuani here? Oh, Cassante? No, you're not. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, it's a triple melee topside for Team Flash. The Sejuani would really go to town over there. Jax Sejuani is a super strong combination, and then Akali Sejuani can be deceptively strong at setting up ganks too, because Akali has such good sticking power. So, yeah, just feels...
And you know what? It would have fit the Braum into this composition much better too, because it would have been better than the Rel. But all right, yeah, you know, we can't change what
VCS.
Yeah, something like that. All right, Okay, here we go. This is actually one of the better places in the game for Sejuani. Sejuani's early game damage in burst is really insane. And as a result, Drakthar, takes a bit of damage, loses the top side scuttle, but still has access to bottom side scuttle. So it's just going to be Spot who gains a little bit of time back. Yashino got pushed back into tower. Is 2T about to kill him?
Hey,
This is
he
insane.
activated his ghost.
Okay. Nope.
I feel like 2T could have tried to chase a little bit more aggressively there, but let's see if he re-engages later on.
This is 2T we're talking about. I wouldn't hold your breath there. No way. 2T has now role swapped, I believe, twice fully inside of the circuit that is VCS. He was mid lane to start with for GAM, is that right? And then became a jungler for a short time for some VCS backup teams.
What?
Yeah, he was jungling for a very short time, I'm pretty sure, on VCS B teams, and now he's a top laner. Again, I don't think it was permanent swap. I think it was just a temporary swap for a team, but I'm pretty sure he was in the jungle for a very short time. Again, not in VCS, but akin to VCS, like VCSB or something like that. So he's gone through some swaps in the last couple of years, and he obviously didn't make it in the mid lane. He was a very bad mid laner, but maybe top lane is more his cup of joe here.
Can we please just add the top laners back into the pool that are actually decent top laners? Where's Marcus? Why is Hero sitting behind someone on the bench? Can we just put Hero on this team here?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that all the teams have like double top lanes, and then the bottom tier teams go with really bad top laners. But maybe 2T can grow into the role, I guess.
I mean, if you remember, this is a team that like basically threw themselves together for the promotion tournament, and then they qualified through the promotion tournament. So they were probably just searching for the most experienced top laner they could find, and then they found 2T, and they're like, oh wait, this guy's played VCS. Yeah, absolutely, sign him. Not to say that he didn't earn the spot. Again, 2T has been like fine in the top lane. I don't think he's been an absolute like sieve by any standard at all. Don't get me wrong. Just as a okay, it's not like an organization like Rainbow Warriors might not have been able to go in and be like, hey, let's offer Marcus a contract, or hey, let's offer Hero a contract, right? It might just been one of those situations where, maybe after this split, they'll have an opportunity to maybe sign somebody else and maybe improve upon the position if it becomes a problem for them.
Yeah, and looking at this game in particular, again, we just saw an interaction that reminds me very much of solo queue, where the jungler says, oh, the grubs are spawning, let's go for the grubs. He starts the grubs a little bit... yeah, optimistically, I'd say. And then the enemy jungler shows up with more support from his lanes. He has to abandon the grubs. All three go to Drakthar, and Spot essentially just wasted his time. He didn't get the objective on the other side, the dragon, of course. So he just wasted his time, did nothing. Drakthar got ahead in experience. There also are 3 grubs, so now there's the added pressure of going to 5. Just already a bad showing in the early game for Rainbow Warriors. I was about to say Rogue Warriors. RW is tripping me up here.
That's right.
Honestly, 2 teams in the same echelon of in their leagues, I'd say. Not actually sure where Rainbow Warriors ranks right now in the LPL, but haven't heard anything good about them in a long time. So probably similar.
Probably, yeah. Like you said, with all the kind of time costs that had come through from the side of Spot going for those Void Grubs and then not getting them, Drakthar was able to make his way to bot lane, and the push from Putin and from Sora meant that there was no way to contest from Easy Love and Xin, who decided to opt into this kind of a bit of a different matchup. And as a result, Team Flash walks away with the Dragon and early Void Grubs. So again, as we were talking about before, VCS is probably the most criminal region in the world when it comes to not trading the early neutral objectives. Here's the Alistar. Xin goes over the wall and does nothing, so it means nothing. Pudding, I think, just has... 2T?
2T, go for it. You have Ghost. What is happening? You used the ultimate. You can kill him there. Now you're gonna die. I call this PvE League of Legends, because the enemy team is not doing anything, so you can just slowly get all the objectives. It's like playing in a custom game to test out a champion. Drakthar just gets to take every jungle camp he wants. A little bit of PvE to throw in there to get a kill. Nice.
Oh. Okay. I was waiting for something else to happen. Spot gonna get blocked by Yashino and then gonna walk out. Oh, nice. Great combo. Okay, all right, yeah, well done, Spot. Gets the stun and then immediately gets the ultimate afterwards for the double stun. That's just like classic Sejuani tech, and does at least get the punish. I know it's first blood over the Drakthar, but there is a response, and it's just a wave dumped in response to Yashino. 2T is gonna be back to lane first, so I mean, all things considered, is just a trade of kills.
Yeah, First Blood and denying the top laner a little bit of experience is, of course, more beneficial for them. It's also an assisted First Blood, so essentially 600 gold for 300 gold. But still, it's a nice counterplay from Spot there. He at least denies more plates going down and grabs a little bit of experience for himself. When we come back, I want to alert you or ask you a bit about artifacts itemization here. What do you think? We can't see it right now.
Oh man, is this the criminal one? Okay,
Yeah,
hold
I
on.
don't think
Let me
it's.
see it.
I mean, it's not wrong per se. It just
Okay,
takes hours. How long is it gonna take for this Corki to scale? Because he has everything that takes extra time.
I hate seeing this so much. He's like, I'm gonna go Cole, I'm gonna go Tier,
Yep,
I'm gonna go
exactly.
Maw, and it's like, you're gonna have to wait like 4 items to get strong in this game, Artifact. It's gonna be a waste. See, then what gets criminal is like Artifact. If he builds Trinity Force, he is absolutely killing me. Like he is slaughtering me if he goes for that.
Imagine being Spot here. You just get it first a kill back in top lane after your top laner dies in front of your eyes. You're alerting your team. You're saying in comms, "Oh, we need to contest the next grubs," and then you press tab and you look at your Corti's items and you're like, okay. Go next.
no contesting at all.
Go
Yeah,
next.
yeah. I'm not sure. I guess maybe the threat is like Jane is actually playing some insane Akali. Wow, what happened on bottom side? There's no Xin. Where is Xin at? Xin Puddin's gonna die. No. Okay, yeah, Puddin's going to die. Sora hopefully doesn't die as well. All right, yeah, not much to be done about that one. I don't know where Xin went in the first place, but fortunately he comes back, as that's going to be Void Grubs taken as well on top side. What are you laughing at?
This game is hilariously bad. After watching.
Why did they leave?
Wait, what is happening now?
They left.
I
They
hate
left.
everything.
Okay, it's fine. It's fine. There is Xin coming up. There is Vision. I don't disrespect that in any capacity. I almost wish Drakthar would have stuck it out and challenged for one more to try to see.
He has
Even
might.
if he loses his life, huh?
He has
Yeah, he has smite. He might as well.
He can risk it.
Yeah, he has smite. He can risk it. He's got the Q to get over the wall. I would have gone for it personally. I think it would have been worth even the death potentially. So what happened here? Okay, he just got caught. Xin is just 1,000 years away from his bot laner. How did this take them so long to kill? Oh, you missed your cute Puddin. I've been gassing Puddin up all split. Good lord.
I'm a big fan of Puddin. I was last year already. He was really good last year, but it seems like he's having a little bit of trouble at the start of this year. He kind of owned Shogun when they played against each other earlier this season. To be honest, Shogun not the greatest start of the season either, struggling on his new team. And Puddin kind of just put him in the dumpster, but ever since, not the greatest performances for Puddin. He's now up 1 kill on the enemy ADC. The matchup is not easy to play for Zarya because she's always outranged. She has to contend with all the poke coming in from the poke Varus. Of course, a little bit more effective when it comes to just putting out DPS and auto attacks, but let's see if she ever gets to that point. She has big targets to hit, so hopefully Puddin can do something later on in this game.
All right, we also have the Lichbane rush here from Jane to try to make things happen. Jane, by the way, is sitting over 10 CS a minute into a range versus melee matchup. Again, Jane to me was the biggest problem for Flash last year. I was like, okay, their mid laner's not doing well. I was like, okay, maybe you can go find somebody that's going to be able to improve upon your team. Nah, man, they believed. Honestly, props to them. I would have given up on Jane a lot faster than they did, but good lord, Jane has been so much better this year, and I'm excited for it because we don't have a lot of like crazy good mid lane talent that gets infused all that often. And so seeing somebody that's been around for some time actually make a pretty decent jump, so you've got like Jane and Arrest as the two, like the next wave of mid laners, is really exciting for VCS in general. I know he's on a kind of not a great team right now if Flash ends up not being able to turn things around. But honestly, again, just seeing mid laners step up and contest is really, really important, I think, for the region to continue being healthy.
Yeah, and I have to say, I think Flash is dealing with one of those problems where all the players are actually quite good. I think this team, if you just look at the player names and think about their potential, they could really put up a fight against the best teams in the region. We have Yoshino in the top lane, Drakthar we have seen be on par with the likes of Levi and Beanjay, and Puddin and Sora certainly can hold their own into really good bot lanes too. So I feel like it's really not on the players. Individually they're strong and their early game stats really back this up, right? But they need to improve on their mid game, and maybe the pause comes at the perfect time because it gives them more time to review footage, to look at other teams, look at other leagues, and just try to improve their sense of macro, their coordination, their set plays, everything that has to be in order for them to really have anything to say when it comes to playoff contention. I feel like just on player value and mechanics alone, they are the favorites to make 6th place, but honestly, if you look at the players here, Drakthar, Yoshino, Podin, they all expect to be better than 6th place, so hopefully they can go into the break with a good performance today, and then build on that with a 2-3 record.
Oh. Spot getting threatened by Sora and Drakthar.
The
Rift Herald is available. Top tower gets brought down by Yoshino, like you said. Now contest for the blue. Great Q by Sora to stun up 2 members as Drakthar gets out. Has to burn the flash to get over to the blast plant, but is able to escape with his life and his ultimate and everything else in tow. As Puddin now in mid lane is going to help with the pushing power. They're going to look at the Rift Herald. I don't think there's much of a contest to be had. I don't know. This is VCS. We sometimes coin flip for basically no reason, but right now, preference of the pit is held by Flash. They're turned off of it with like 1,000 health left. All they need to do is get an eye proc, get a smite, and they do. They're able to grab up the Rift Herald, and that should be the end of that. Nothing else crazy to talk about. That's the end of the play.
I would love to see a replay on the top lane. How did the tower go down so quickly? Something must have happened in the trade there for 2 against Yoshino. Every time we looked at top lane, 2T was seemed to be winning the trades, but now suddenly the tower is down already, and of course Jax with his auto-attack resets, with his attack speed and everything, he's a really good tower pusher, and then you have 4 grubs as well, but still, it's kind of surprising to me. First tower secured.
I'm not sure either. It would be nice to see it, but I doubt we're going to get a replay on something that wasn't crazy kills. VCS has been a little more tame in some games this split. I mean, we're on 4 kills in 15 minutes for 2 of our bottom teams, which is kind of wild, because normally when we get 2 bottom teams, we have like 30 kills at 15 minutes, and nobody's winning. But in this case, Flash actually has a very comfortable 2K advantage. They're sitting on 2 kills to 2 kills. They got 2 dragons. They have the Void Grub advantage. I mean, it is just a good place to be in for Flash. It's not dominating, but it is a great place to be in, and they're trying to expound on this advantage to some capacity.
Yeah. CS leads in every role, apart from support, which doesn't count. So it's just going great. Team Flash just the better players on the map, and just slowly but surely accruing an advantage and scaling into the later stages. I would like to see a little bit of action around Jane. I feel like he is in a strong position right now. 1 item finished, level 12, so 2nd level on his ultimate. He has a lot of burst damage now, and might be able to chase down Artifact if he gets the chance to do so.
Okay. I'm watching as well. I'm keeping track of the itemization from Artifact to see if he goes for Malignance, or if he decides to go for the more auto-attacky type build. There's a couple of different ways you can go with Corki. This is very stally, and this is what I normally see go into something like Triforce, which drives me insane. Eclipse is also an insane item on Corki, especially with a Monomune. When it fully procs, that proc of damage actually gives you the Eclipse immediately. So you hit 1 missile and it has an Eclipse proc, which is quite nice. So that to me is Rainbow Warriors' #1 problem, or #1 kind of late game strategy here, is we're waiting to see if Artifact can get onto late game itemization fast enough, because Easy Love isn't dead in the water, but again, he's pretty far behind, especially in terms of the auto-attacking game. I don't know that he's going to have the same effects as we saw earlier today with the Varus, and so I think we're really banking here for Rainbow Warriors to be trusting on the Corki. Actually goes for a book, so I have much better feeling about maybe Malignance.
Yeah. I think most Corkis go for Malignance, right? It just feels insanely strong. Yeah.
Our first week of play here, or second week of play here, we had one too many people building the Trinity Force for my liking. So I have to call it out every single time I see it now. Zig got destroyed. That was just Drakthar hitting with a punch and Jane hitting with a Q auto.
Look at Yoshino. He's thinking about some
shenanigans.
Yeah, some really, really deep things. They're trying to get the nice little wrap around, but the enemy team is just not walking into the territory at all. So he's just chilling. That was
Sejuani ultimate, Chains of Corruption, and Alistar ultimate burnt well before a fight started with no impact at all. Yeah. Means that Rainbow Warriors have nothing to fight the dragon with, so they're now down 3 dragons to none.
And you said earlier we have some slower games in the VCS, and a lot of people always fault the VCS for being too bloodthirsty. There's too much action, not enough play on the map, on the waves, and so on. But this is one of these examples where slow pace from one team is actually really, really bad, because it's not about them playing smart, them playing scaling. It's about them being incredibly indecisive and just not being there for anything on the map. They're just bleeding out everything. It's still this PvE style league, honestly, with 2 kills smattered there in between. But honestly, Team Flash could just go wherever they wanted on the map. They got top tower, they got bot tower, mid tower's almost down. They got all the objectives. 3 dragons at 19 minutes with barely a 3k gold lead. That shouldn't be happening. Like, where are the team fights? To be honest, or to be fair to them, I should say, Corki, of course, needs to scale, and he started with Cull, Tier, and Hex Drinker, so as we pointed out earlier, it's gonna take a while for him to be effective, but still, this is too much given up in the early game.
I'd agree with that. I have another big question for you. Okay, so currently, here's what happened, right? And this is a bit of a discussion into itemization because this game's kind of slow. So if you notice something kind of important about macro, feel free to call it out. Artifact had a Cull in his inventory, sold it for money, which is what you do in the late game anyway. But he bought a book. Why would you sit on 2 separate amplifying tomes? Because you don't get that much value out of the AP. Unless you're using a 2-book component item. Why would you ever do this? Because Cull's just better. The damage from Cull is just better than having like the 10 AP or the 15 or 20 AP that you get, because it scales your abilities better. Is he building not Malignance? Because you need an amplifying tome for Lost Champion and you need one for Phoenix Codex. But why wouldn't you upgrade to Phoenix Codex? There's no way he didn't have the money for it. So in what universe?
Exactly at that breakpoint where you can't build the other thing, and then maybe he rushed out of base and just clicked on something.
Didn't think about it.
Something like that, yeah.
I like to think that. I'm just panicking because I'm like, what if he builds something nonsensical? What if he's building I don't know, Shadow Flame or something immediately, which would be a little strange. Sora takes some damage, not gonna be anything too crazy. Into the backline goes Drakthar, and then flashes out to make sure he doesn't get punished. 2T's on his way in, but he can't quite get there fast enough to punish Drakthar. As Team Flash gets engaged on, but Rainbow Warriors basically nothing for it. Here comes Yosh from the bottom side.
He is again.
But he's gone.
What is Yosh even doing this game?
I don't really. It's like every engagement is just not sticking, and Team Flash is doing nothing about it also. It's like Team Flash is just taking a punch, and then they're just like, nothing else, and then that's it.
Yeah, finally Rainbow Warriors actually went for a play. It looked decent, but unfortunately they just walk away with no kills whatsoever. Used their Ghost and 2T. No flashes invested, I guess, so that's nice, but still they would really have liked to get something back in terms of gold, and now it's back to split pushing, which is not great for Rainbow Warriors, because they lose both sides of the side lane push, so yeah, they're slowly going to bleed out even more resources, even more gold, and make Team Flash's scaling solo laners stronger and stronger with every minute that passes.
My issue has also now been quashed, Yolway, as Artifact went back to base, finished his Sword Shoes, and also finished a Lost Toe. So he actively, as a player, decided that he did not need the Cull damage and instead needed an Amplifying Tome, and did not need to upgrade either one, and just decided to sit on 2 of them for some reason on Corki. That's okay. If there had been a fight and there had been a small amount of damage and needed to kill somebody, I would have actually lost my mind. But fortunately, he gets to escape with his dignity here, and nothing bad happens. The rest of the team, I mean, Kanik Rookern's now done for 2T. I actually am a little terrified of 2T here for Team Flash, because Jane is the most damage, is not really going to be able to rip through 2T very easily, so you're kind of expecting Pudding to do a lot of that work right now.
I think Drakthar is actually surprisingly one of the champions that can deal with 2T. Not on his own, but in a team fight. Speaking of 2T, he might be... Oh, Yoshino, that was a horrible, horrible flash. Okay, that's a big shutdown, and now number 2 maybe? No, 2T is gonna go down to Jane 1-for-1. But in the meantime, mid lane, can Rainbow Warriors profit? Nope.
No, they cannot. Just ends up being the 1-for-1. And now, honestly, 2T, again, to me, was more valuable than the Jax in these situations, because he was a frontline tank. What is there, a few seconds until Dragon's gonna be up? They're gonna have to play this Baron dance alongside Team Flash. Is that really a threat, Yolway? Are they worried? I mean, this is like an AD Like, this is a very, very behind Corki, given that they went for a defensive itemization. I don't think you take it fast enough to actually legitimately threaten this with lethality Varus.
Yeah.
If I were Flash, I'd say go ahead, start it. Like, you're not gonna finish it fast enough to win this.
Yeah, and Flash is already starting the dragon. Like, Rainbow Warriors needs to hurry if they want to contest this. They might already be too late. It's down to 8k. Okay, Spot is actually here to contest. Maybe you can smite it away and bring the game back into grasping distance. Nope, there it is. That's all.
Okay, that's something. A little bit of engagement onto Drakthar. He's probably going to go down. Nice package. Actually cuts off the rest of the team. His artifact is going to grab that kill. Okay, they get something. Yeah, they can go for Baron. They can at least play the Baron game. I don't know that they can actually take it. I think they want to fish for a fight instead. Personally, I think that's right. So stall for time. Look for Sejuani Ultimate and Chains of Corruption to come back up. Well, they're both within like 10 seconds of coming back up. So I want to see them play this, but I don't want to see them actually commit to it because I don't think their Baron takes fast enough.
But it's very healthy. I feel like actually starting the Baron here is not a bad play. Let's see if they can get on top of Yoshino. No Flash.
No Chains of Corruption. Guys, land your ultimates, please. Oh, you're killing me.
Or don't use them. There was no need to use them.
Yoshino there's Yoshino. He gets tagged up by the Sejuani ultimate. Now Putin gets to go the opposite direction. He still has his. They're chasing Yoshino out the jump. Again, the idea is there. Like, I like the idea. Is like, okay, let's play the Baron. We're not going to take the Baron. We're going to play for the fight. They just cannot quite capitalize. They don't get the Chains of Corruption off. They do get the Sejuani ultimate off, but it ends up not leading to the death of Yoshino. And now, any chance at a play that they had is now doomed. But I liked the idea. The idea there for a second was actually really good. They agreed with us. They aligned with us and said, hey, let's bait Baron. Let's see if we can get something out. Because now you're playing against the Cloud Soul Team Flash.
Oh. Bot missed smite. That's blue buff for the whole team. Oh, and the engage on the tank. It's not actually that tanky. He's down in an instant.
Yeah, when everybody's hitting him all at once, he does not look like he's made of sterner stuff for sure. Now they're going to hold this choke point with Sora and Rainbow Warriors. I think understands the significant danger behind that, as they cannot walk in. Not to mention, you still have Jane, who's going to be in a really good position to punish. Again, Sora's in the exact right position to be playing this fight. Now they're looking at Baron, as Putin is pretty strong. You have a couple of members. I mean, 3 auto attackers there. Sora stepped out of the brush for a second. I wonder if they saw him, were able to ping him out. They are pinging him out, actually. So they're going to wrap around the backside of the Baron pit. Let's see what they can do. Jane is on the other side looking for something. Sora comes out the brush. Now Jane is waiting on the attack angle. Can they find Zin? They're going to turn off. They're going to look maybe for something. Jane, rocket belting into the backline, looking for artifact. Can he find the damage? He cannot quite yet.
Big engage.
Goes in with a big ultimate. That's going to be massive. Now Putin can actually put feathers through the majority of the team. Zin is going to get brought down. That's by Yoshino. Now Spot getting hunted as well. Can they chase him down fast enough to be able to maybe convert this into a Baron? That's going to be the kill onto him, onto Yoshino, and now they're turning right back forward. They're going to go for the Baron. That's probably the kill shot necessary for Flash to win this.
Yep, that should be all she wrote for this game. Decently clean execution here around the Baron. A little bit sketchy when it comes to the mid lane setup for Team Flash. Yoshino shouldn't have died earlier in the bot lane either, but a little bit of cleanup. I mean, we just went from Team Secret, who's probably the best team around objectives, to Team Flash, but at least some glimpses of clean macro play are there for Flash, and they look better when it comes to mid and late game. Might also be the opponents that put on very, very little resistance. Rainbow Warriors, once again, just look limp and kind of inactive. But they try to fight here. Let's take a look at this again. But Artifact is just too weak. He should be dealing so much more damage at this point in the game. But he's not really contributing anything. Varus is on the wrong side of the map, so this fight is already lost before it even started, and then the engage and the follow-up chase is all Flash needed. 3 kills confirmed. I don't think a single kill back for the side of the Rainbow Warriors. So, too easy, honestly. A little too easy for them.
What was Easy Love's thought process here? Like, I don't... He was split up from the rest of the team, I understand. He has Flash. He could have just flashed the Raptor wall to get back to the rest of his team. Like, in what universe do you walk upwards and then go, oh, Akali's not going to come chase me? I just... that's a bit of a... again, it's a weird decision to come through from the side of Rainbow Warriors, who now, I mean... 3 items in, the Xayah is actually pretty much melting every single person inside these fights, especially given enough time. Jane is more than strong enough to be ripping people. Notice there's no Storm Surge. Did not go for the greedy itemization. Instead went for Cinder Bloom, which is really, really good item, alongside a single target kind of rush damage with the Rocket Belt and the Lich Bane. I appreciate that from Jane, doing some really nice things. I don't really know that there's a way to play this. I would kind of want Yoshino to be in another lane. I like that he's heading to top and splitting this into 3 places, because I doubt Rainbow Warriors has the ability to force a fight hard enough to punish if they're playing on 3 lanes in any capacity. So Team Flash should be perfectly fine to just push in 3 places and not worry about it too much.
Yeah, the game is just, from start to finish, too comfortable. There needs to be a little bit more of a fight back from Rainbow Warriors. Go back to the drafting, and maybe draft a more active jungler. I really hate the Sejuani Corki first two. It's so inactive. Like, I can kind of understand the reasoning. Flash is bad in the late game, we are bad in the early game, so let's just pick scaling and hope, but it just, when it doesn't work, it looks so incredibly hopeless. You don't even have any chance at winning the game when you're already behind in agency, in objectives, in everything, once the Corki has scaled to not even like a strong point, just a decent point. So please try for a little bit more agency in mid-jungle.
Elder Dragon now down. I don't think there's much of a way around the fight that is incoming here from the side of Team Flash. I will say, right now, one of the best builds is like Frozen Heart into like an AP, like Kaenic Rookern or even Hollowed Radiance. I actually really like that itemization on Sejuani. I think it's very powerful. She seems like somebody who would be very, very good in lane if you used her like that, so maybe that's a possibility. But like you said, not active enough at the beginning of the game. Wasn't able to accomplish much. The Corki did finally get onto Malignant and is actually, I believe, finishing up an Eclipse here, which is really good. Again, once you get onto those 3 items, you're feeling really great. But it's going to be a minute, as they're going to need 1 more minute for the Corki to really get to the point where he can solo carry the game with his
level
rockets.
16 too. He's close to it. But maybe level 16 rockets, 3-item Corki can do something. There it is, level 16. Not quite the 3 items yet, but it just feels a little too late. And I can't really see them doing anything. Maybe the last stand is here, around the base turrets, around the inhibitor turrets. Look at this.
I don't think so. Yeah, they're just kind of getting beelined towards by the side of Team Flash, who are playing rather respectfully. They're not rushing for any sort of fight. Even though they've got the Elder Dragon, they're not, putting the gas down and not putting off the brakes. They're making sure to do their diligence. And ensuring that they have all of the control that they need in order to at least walk in these waves to get most of the base. They should win off of this push, to be quite honest, if they can link up mid-wave. Here comes the mid-wave as well. Waiting for an engagement. Chains of Corruption is going to go in. Drakthar is going to be knocked down to like 40% health. That's actually going to call the retreat bell here from Team Flash, as they also... Team Flash hasn't really gone into anything insane yet either this game. They haven't really pushed their advantage down. They just kind of have slowly been pulling away layers and layers from Rainbow Warriors. Notably, Artifact is now 3-item Corki with level 16. This is the breakpoint we've been waiting for. They might get 1 more chance at a fight, especially since they just pushed Team Flash out. We have to see if this was actually worth the time, because, I mean, we had to wait so long for Artifact to get to this point. Now it's just that, now you're here. Show us why you actually did this.
Yeah, and I hope they understand how to play their own team composition, because most of the time with bottom-tier VCS teams, even and not a very active team like Rainbow Warriors so far, they kind of teamfight a bit too aggressively most of the time, where they disregard what the targets they have to peel for, the targets they have to protect. Stuff like Alistar Engage is used aggressively only. You can peel with Alistar, not amazingly, but decently enough. And I think this Alistar should definitely refrain from going in. He should just be the bodyguard for Artifact and give Artifact the time he needs to really cut down the enemy targets. Let's see if Rainbow Warriors understood the assignment.
I'm also noticing that there's another massive, significant issue with this team. They have no wave clear. Like, Lethality Varus is not the best at taking down waves. Corki is decent at it. The problem is you don't want Corki dumping missiles into the wave. You want him dumping missiles into enemies. Yeah. So you cannot risk missiles going into like random minion waves. You have to actually use them on enemy champions. And as a result, I mean, you're seeing. Again, Poke is going down, but the rockets are necessary to make this happen. Ultimate onto Artifact into the background goes Drakthar. Jane kind of gets there, but not quite far enough. Easy Love's just going to get absolutely, wrecked by Jane. As they have Artifact still, his rockets are going to be able to do some kind of work here. You can see the damage is getting through. That's really nice from Sora, though. And wow, Puddin just puts in the work as Team Flash is going to be able to clean it up. That's Sora. I mean, everything defensive was burnt on that first initial invade by Artifact. He wasn't ready, and Sora follows up with an amazing follow-up engagement after Drakthar and is able to clean that one up. Again, being down 18,000 gold is going to be difficult to come back from in any circumstance, but that was just really, really good masterclass by the double engage there from from Flash.
That's a 5-for-0 ace they ended the game with there, into the 3.5 item Corki. So yeah, even considering all the gold advantage they had accrued, on the tower, diving 2 or 3 base towers into this super strong Corki, very impressive execution. Snap engage. Looks like the team fighting for Flash at least is pretty crisp. Mid game was still a bit too slow maybe, but overall a very comfortable win against the worst team in the league, who is now sitting on a 9-game losing streak, I believe. Let's hope Rainbow Warriors can get a little bit closer to breaking. Did they even get a single tower in this game? I don't believe so. So hopefully, maybe that's the target for the next game. Get at least 1 tower. Try to invest into that objective, and a little bit more early game agency would be nice to see too, because this is just a little too depressing to watch. Also, it must be depressing to play, because when you have nothing to do on the map, you have no buttons, you have no advantages anywhere. It's just playing the waiting game when you're already 0-9 in terms of game score. It can't feel great. So I just wish for Rainbow Warriors to try something new, be a bit more aggressive. Even if you lose here, who cares? You're already 0-9. Just try something, get a little bit of a good feeling to go into the Lunar New Year break, and go out with as much of a bang as you can muster.
Yeah, I wonder if they end up pulling anybody into the starting lineup. I mean, Yuki's been around, Hyo's been around. You've got No Way and Killer both sitting behind Easy Love at the bottom lane, and they have another support as well. SJW is sitting behind Zin. Who knows whether they're actually going to play or if they're going to try something different. But if you're Rainbow Warriors, I mean, just trying to figure out a way to get a win is the first important thing. For the side of Team Flash, I mean, walking into game number 2, I just stick to it, man. Jane was amazing. I think Sora was amazing in that one. Yoshino was perfectly serviceable. Drakthar, I think, needs a bit more agency. Even on the Vi, I felt like he was a little slow at the beginning of the game, maybe not as forcing as he could have been. So I would like to see more comfort in that regard. So I mean, do you have any prescriptions for maybe the side of Rainbow Warriors to make this team or game look more competitive? I mean, what do you think here?
Yeah, I just feel like no matter how bad your plays are compared to the other team, just pick something that gives you a button. Like the Annie Nocturne on this team. Like, it's easy enough to play. Maybe you don't win, but something like that. Something that actually makes it easy to create some advantage. Maybe the enemy team oversteps. We know Team Flash is not the best team when it comes to team fighting and getting engaged upon either. So just make sure that you have the tools to actually attack them, not let them run away with everything on the map without anything you will do to fight against them. So I would like to see Xin Zhao combined with a strong early game mid laner, something like that, or the Vi again, but this time a LeBlanc Vi or something. Anything that can actually have a little bit of agency, a little bit of aggression through the mid-jungle combination.
We'll see if they pull anything like that out of their hat, or if they will instead just fall quietly, as we'll get into game number 2 as soon as it starts here in just a couple minutes. We'll be right back.
Welcome back, everyone, to game number 2 of series number 2 of day number 4 of week number 3. So many numbers. Probably the last day game we are going to see before the Lunar New Year break. Rebel, are we going to get a nice game to go out on, or is it going to be another snooze fest like game number 1? What do you think? Do the Rainbow Warriors have anything they can fight for?
At minimum, it would be really great if we could just get one game of them throwing hands at each other. Like, if you're you can't pretend to play good League of Legends and then play bad League of Legends. Like, you're not gonna fool us somehow. Like, it's not gonna happen. So, like, at least give us bad League of Legends and let us enjoy it, right? Like, I don't even care. Like, Rainbows or Warriors winning and then seeing the 1v1, I would love to know who these teams both put up there. Like, I would love to know who it is that they could put as their 1v1, because that'd be kind of crazy. It would be boring. It'd be like Yoshino versus Artifact or something like that. What I would really want to see is like Yuki versus like Sora is like what I would want to see in a situation.
No,
like
it's Yoshino against Artifact on let's say
Ornn.
Udyr. So no hands. The two old men with no hands against each other.
Gross. Yeah. See, I don't really want that to happen, but it would be nice to see, at minimum, some attempts at wins. Rainbow Warriors in that one felt so safe and so protected for such a long time. They were just like, yo, we'll throw ultimates, but we're never really going to stick a landing on an engagement. We're never going to force a play to happen. And as a result, they just slowly kind of got picked apart. And we don't want that. We don't want slow heat death of Rainbow Warriors. We'd at least like to see them go out with a bang, right?
Well, let's see what kind of champions they choose to go out with, or maybe to fight back with. There's a TF ban. That
was their last game too. Jane is very good at TF.
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, the team is already better than you, so giving them more tools to kind of grow that lead and just help out the other lanes, probably not a good idea. They have first pick again. They first pick Corki. I don't want to see another Corki foot.
I mean, it depends on Artifact, right? Like, I have no idea whether Artifact is where his brain's at, because he might just be like, oh, Corki's an insane. Oh, they ban it. Okay, yeah, they're saving Rainbow Warriors from themselves, Yolway.
Nice.
Easy enough.
Bash.
But they give Ori, so.
Appreciate your support, services, whatever. So now it's Orianna first pick, another Artifact classic, I guess, but really not a first pickable champion in my opinion, so not entirely sure where that is going, or what that is doing there. It's going mid lane. It's definitely going mid lane, but...
Is it? I mean, I don't think anyone's ever flexed it to support.
Top lane Orianna, let's go.
Top lane Orianna. And immediately into the LeBlanc. You know what's funny is I saw this matchup just yesterday, and I'm like, this matchup's like not good for Orianna, right? And then LeBlanc, especially if you build AD LeBlanc and you go for like static shift, there's nothing. Orianna just nothing into it during the laning phase. Like, you can't out trade the LeBlanc. She's just too good at trading with like the single auto attack. See, it's funny because we were like, hey, what if Rainbow Warriors went for like LeBlanc and Vi or something aggressive? And then immediately Team Flash is like, no, we're playing LeBlanc and Lee Sin. We're going to win the mid jungle.
Yeah, and Rainbow Warriors going for teamfight scaling things again, if you want to call Viego that, but definitely not quite as easy to make things happen as with Lee Sin.
Explain to me the psychology that takes Spot from a place where he's like, I'm going to pick Sejuani first in my first game since 2019 to next game being like, all right, I'm ripping Viego. I'm going. Like, it's like a 180 entirely. He might as well have picked like Kindred and been like, all right, I'm picking Kindred.
Yeah, I think the thing that actually happened there is there's this interesting button. It's pretty funny to press, and there's a big question mark on it, and it just gives you a random champion. So yeah, I think Spot might have experimented a little bit too much with Nautilus. I guess it's fine. It's in Nautilus, so it's something he's comfortable with. A little bit out of the blue, I feel like, with no bot lane priority for that. So just securing the Nautilus. Yes, into the Zarya, which that so great a pick. I'm not entirely sure about that, but okay, Xin is comfortable on this champion. He's decent on the Nautilus, so I don't hate it too much. Not more than I hate any other Nautilus pick, which is a lot, obviously, because it's Nautilus, but the Rakan is... Okay, there it is. There's the Rakan ban. Makes a lot of sense. They could just go with... Honestly, with whatever support they want. Maybe a Renata comes to mind. Renata Zarya, very, very hard to attack, and then you play her on top side.
I guess, yeah, you could play for something like that. You could also have Sora actually pick a support and punish the Nautilus like crazy in the laning phase, which is certainly my preference.
Today, by the way?
It's a great question. I don't know. Senna's just gone from the VCS, I suppose.
Maybe the Senna could be an option here for the side of Flash. It's a little risky, of course, into the likes of Nautilus, but then again, you can really punish him. If you dodge a Q, you just chase him down with Senna and Zarya. It's not really a lane you see all too often, Senna, Zarya. It's not the greatest, no.
League of All-Star, we're back, baby. Let's go. Vietnamese
of
Cow
all
Series.
The champions, you choose Alistar again.
What is the composition from Flash? Whoa, okay.
Huh?
I was like, we just got a Samir insta-lock? Is that what just happened? I'm like, you have crazy single target damage with Drakthar and with Yashino, but then like, are you playing like dive? Is that what your intention? Because then like Jane is kind of left alone on the backside of the fight. Senna actually gets taken, and it might be farming Senna if you're right. I know we talked about that before the series that maybe farming Senna's gonna come in. And Aatrox, okay. That's a little bit of a skill matchup in the top lane, but I don't think Yashido's necessarily opposed to that.
So now the comp got much more interesting for Rainbow Warriors over there. Jax, Viego, there's a lot of CC between the two of them. Can be strong, but can also kind of fall flat in terms of 2v2 potential compared to Aatrox Lee Sin. It's yeah, there's a lot of skill involved on the top side. I am a little bit... I'm happy to see that. More skirmishing should be going on there. The Senna, of course, always former Senna. We saw a lot of farming Senna yesterday in early C. We have also seen farming Nautilus, not particularly great. I mean, it gets a bit more tanky, but then Nautilus got so many nerfs to his tankiness that even if he builds tank items, not really that great of a tank anymore. So I feel like this is more of an opportunity to play farming Senna and then just try to punish with your insane range advantage. Senna and Nautilus, I feel like, should definitely win the lane into Zarya and Alistar, especially looking at the Alistar side of things. So hopefully Rainbow Warriors can win a few more lanes here, especially looking at bot lane, then maybe a few skirmishes on the top side.
Yeah, if they win out in bot lane, I mean, there's enough counterplay on the top side of the map that at minimum they have the ability to win out there as well, or at least keep it neutral up there as well. And as a result, I'm like, okay, I'm actually relatively in favor of the composition put together by the side of Rainbow Warriors here. I'm hoping they can execute on it. Again, I'm never a big fan of drafting multiple single target damage carries on the same team, so it's like, okay, Lee Sin is kind of that way. I kind of don't like Lee Sin this season anyway. I know there's a lot of playmaking, but I'm just not a big fan of it. And the LeBlanc, it depends. If you're playing the AP LeBlanc, there's a lot of benefit in like the mid to late game. If you're playing the AD LeBlanc, you do much better in the laning phase. So we'll see whether or not there's any expectation of that. It is just going to be AP LeBlanc here for Jane as well. So we're not going for anything crazy.
Yeah, it seems like the AD LeBlanc finally is dead. Hopefully, I don't want to jinx it, but considering we have a pause after this series of more than a week. I feel like maybe we have seen the last of AD LeBlanc. Fingers crossed. No one wants to see that abomination of a champion. I mean, AP LeBlanc is slightly better, but yeah, AD LeBlanc, just the play pattern of that champion. It's abhorrent. Like, please get it out of me.
It's a rat champion. That's right. So we dubbed that in week number 1 rat champion because it comes in, it hits somebody for a 1300 damage auto, and then it gets out, and it's like, okay, you're playing a marksman with like the most safety that you could possibly imagine. All right, let's see where we go. Okay, so why the...
Senna did go for support items, so it's gonna be a farming Nautilus at the start, which makes the lane a little bit weaker. I'm not actually the biggest fan of this. I mean, I always favor fasting Senna, not farming Senna. But in this case, I really feel like you lose a lot of lane agency with the Nautilus taking punishment, trying to go for farm, while the Senna can farm from afar and you can still win the 2v2. So let's see how it goes. I mean, in theory, it should be the better option because you have 2 champions that profit from the gold. But I always question why you go for Nautilus in this case, because there's so many better tanks you could be playing, like Maokai just comes to mind, or like a Scion even. If you want to have a farming tank, play a farming tank that actually scales better with the tank items. But let's see how it goes.
Yeah, Cho'Gath. I love Cho'Gath. I think Cho'Gath.
Yeah, I really like Cho'Gath too. It makes your lane a bit weaker for sure, but it scales way better.
It also has much better range than most melees because it's like your Q is basically spammable. Your W is a really great way to fight. It's actually just a great champion down there. I'm surprised we don't see more of it. It got really strong in the middle of last year, and then people just didn't play it ever again. And I'm like, why did this not happen? So I'm always a big fan of that. Also, Senna Cho'Gath is super easy to set up, but how did he land that hook? I swear that minion was in the way.
Well, Artifact is actually winning the laning phase. He is an accomplished Orianna player, and Jane is struggling in these traits, as he's now down to 1 potion. No, all his potions are gone, and he's down to 200 HP anyway, so he probably has to reset soon. At least he has... Oh, what is happening here? Easy Love getting caught? Oh, no.
And that is a very early L from the side of the bot lane of Rainbow Warriors. We were saying, oh, maybe they have a chance to win out here, but unfortunately... they're going to lose very quickly, as the Senna is going to die.
I didn't flash. Don't engage. It's not going great. And this was supposed to be the lane they win. Okay, it's just Sora with a flash.
Oh my God. Wow, just a flash Q into W. That's not, like, normally I'd want to give praise to Sora, but I can't even give praise to Sora. That's just mispositioning by Easy.
That's a silver Alistair that can do that, honestly. I mean, I'm not flaming Sora. He played it as well as he could, but that is not a hard thing to predict.
No, that was not. No.
Every Alistair has done this since bronze rank. Oh, nicely done from 2T.
Okay. Actually, really good setup here. I love the way that they tried this play to make it work. They got Spot through the backside. He was playing from the brush down to the top. Forced out Yashino's flash. They're going to get the wave in. It's not a big advantage. Oh, my... I can't do it, man. I'm too faint of heart now. I'm too old. In my old age, I can't handle this.
Oh, can we just
like,
skip all the Rainbow Warrior games? What is that?
There's like 2 minions. Just give them the Spot and leave 2T. Why? Why are you greeting for 2 minions?
And they set it up so well, as you just said. They actually played the gank so well, and then this happens. It
like a perfect gank. It fixes the lane state. It buys 2T a back. It's like getting the Jax out of late game. Like, this is fine. This is so good.
Yeah, the Q is actually so crafty there for 2T. Forces the flash. Yoshino was so close to the tower, he thought he was fine. And then just laziness.
2 minions! Literal 2 minions.
Give the minion over to your jungler.
Give it the Spot.
Oh my God, I can't watch it, Rebel. It's so disgusting. No,
I don't know, because like there were 2 options here, which were basically like, okay, either let the wave sit where it's at, which kind of is rough, but at least you get the back timing as 2T, then you can TP back, and then you can force it in, and then you can call Spot off, and you can just go get the gremlins on the top lane, or you let Spot have the 2 minions and you just back off anyway. And instead he chooses the 3rd option, which was to die. At least they do still get the Void Grubs. That is a benefit. I was worried they were going to lose that, and that was going to be really disastrous. But notice, bot lane now, you basically lose 2, maybe 3 plates, because Senna went up to get some free additional souls off of the Void Grubs. And as a result, now you lost the Void Grubs, but you have now also lost, or you gained the Void Grubs and some souls, but you lost 2 full plates and probably lost Dragon Control. Yeah,
and I feel like in every little interaction we see them play, there's some fumble. Oh no. Oh, that's...
No! Why, Dragler? Okay, he's gonna go back in on Easy Love. He's at least gonna drop Easy Love to half health. I feel like if he had sidestepped and let Sora go in, maybe there was a chance at like a further engagement, but not gonna be the case. Instead, they'll just take the health bar and they'll proxy the wave for Xin.
Yeah, but there's so many... If you just look at the details, someone has to go through all these games and point out just tiny little things that you think aren't actually that big of a deal, but stacked together or stacked up, they just keep giving you disadvantages. Just there, Easy Love with a... Oh god, Easy Love's gonna die. No, he flashes away. Okay, now enemy team is overextended. Can we get a counter kill here? At least get something back. Get the kills going for Easy Love. They're slowed and Sora is walking away. No. Okay.
Okay.
That's one kill. There's
All right,
the
2 more
counter engage.
reinforcements are here. Now Spot's going to take a bunch of damage. Chain's going to land. Nice play, and Puddin gets the kill. So it is just a 1-for-1. I almost would have preferred it go onto LeBlanc, but Puddin getting some additional damage is good. I mean, you're playing into multiple frontliners, multiple melee champions, so needing some of that front up to front damage is quite nice for the ADC.
Well, a 1-for-1. At least they're on the board. The kill went over to Viego, which is not bad either. Can Artifact do anything here? There's a smite, yeah.
Well, Drakthar barely got pulled by that. I think he wanted him to come a lot closer, but he got stuck on the wall. And as a result, Artifact doesn't pull him far back for Spot to be able to take advantage of. We get a replay as what looked like a fight was about to happen in the river, but I'm okay with this.
Yeah, and that's a decent flash from Easy Love. Finally makes use of that summoner spell. A bit over-aggressive from Sora, and look at how long it takes them to take down the support Alistar. At least they forced the flash from Puddin too, so maybe there's a play opportunity with Zin's ultimate, with Easy Love W as a follow-up. Maybe they can punish Puddin without his flash, but then of course he has his ultimate, so it's going to be hard to kill the Zarya either way. Let's see where it goes. We don't have the Senna Souls on our overlay, unfortunately. She roamed quite a bit, so I think she's a bit behind here. At 8 minutes, you would hope to be looking at like 30, 35. So, especially as fasting Senna, so a little bit higher count than the farming Senna usually has. But yeah, she should definitely be above 20. Otherwise, she's really, really far behind.
See if we ever get a chance to pan the camera over to the Senna. Yashino versus 2T. 2T lands the stun, but actually loses the health trade pretty significantly to Yashino.
This looks really hard to play. This could be 1v2.
Okay. Spot is here. Has to come out of the shadow, I think, a little faster than he wanted to set up this play. And so as a result, Yashino is going to walk out. Oh,
Yashino is fancying it. He wants this 1v2. He knows it's possible. Now it's a 2v2. Yep.
Okay, see? Oh, a decent kick. I think he wanted to kick Spot is actually what happened, but unfortunately not able to. Yashino instead is going to get that one. And now Drakthar is just going to run at Spot.
What was that, Drakthar?
In what universe? Why? You have Q. I'm certain you have Q. There's no way you don't. How do you use my only thought, he was terrified. He's like, okay, well, maybe I don't hit Q, then I don't get the kill or whatever. So then he's like, it probably had to be a little bit of BM. He's like, okay, well, I have to use Flash. I might as well BM a little bit. Waited for a second and then ends up cleaning that one. But that was just nonsense.
I think he wanted to style on him because he could have actually just walked next to him. He didn't have aggro, I think. Because the last auto attack was like a few seconds ago. So he could have just closed the distance, just walking next to Spot, but instead he wanted to play it cool, land his Q, and then he was like, but what if I don't hit the Q? Let's just flash. Let's look at this again.
Yeah.
Bit of silliness. Okay. He did have red buff running.
Yeah, like,
isn't one more auto attack just enough anyway? You can just walk. Like, he's slowed by red buff. You can just walk. I guess he was scared.
I had to be PM.
Yeah, he was scared of the W turnaround. I think that's what he was scared of. The W turnaround under tower, so you just wanted to make sure to kill him 100%. I guess it's fine. It looked a bit silly.
Like I said, to me it looked more like BM than it looked like a legitimate strategy, but I'm willing to accept that maybe there was some credential or some credit to what happened to Drakthar right there. Jane got bullied a little bit. He was doing fine in the laning phase for a hot minute, but right there got caught up in the shockwave by Artifact, and so has to leave. We'll TP back and not have too much of an issue. Draken over to Drakthar. This is the first one of the game. It's a little late, as Puddin is just going to run down Easy Love and kill that. There's a TP coming into the back. But 2T has now TP'd into the fight. He's just going to run away like a little coward. Why even show up if you're going to run away like a coward? Now Drakthar is going to try to wrap around. He was on the dragon. Now he's off the dragon. Can he find anything?
Oh, I like that from Drakthar. That was cool.
That was pretty. Yeah, nice little like fake ward hop to try to bait out the hook from Zin. And that's going to be a death. I mean, they can't quite get 2T, but they absolutely get...
No,
what are we doing?
Why are you here?
Oh, my goodness. Artifact and Spot show up only to feed more fodder. And why is 2T still here? Leave, please. Stop. Oh my goodness, Rainbow Warriors, please just be willing to lose things. I don't understand.
I'm not sure if this is better than last game. Last game they didn't do anything and gave up 2 kills in 20 minutes. The game was over, but at least they went 1-9 down, I guess.
I guess, yeah. 11 minutes, 5k gold disadvantage. Okay, I'm gonna throw this at you because I think this is pretty interesting. So this got changed. I think it does get either got changed on 14.2 or it gets changed as of 14.3. I think it's 14.3 this gets changed. Stridebreaker still exists. It's becoming a Tiamat item. If you are Lee Sin, you want Tiamat because it's pretty good for clearing your jungle. I know it's not like necessary for clearing your jungle, but you can double dip on Stridebreaker and Tiamat. Would you not want that? Wouldn't you want like basically good, an extra 400 damage burst on top? Because like after you get like the Sundered Sky, I mean, you would hit like an absolute truck on your first attack. I don't know. I didn't see it anywhere. I have not one time seen anybody run the double like Tiamat tech basically. But I'm astonished I didn't because I feel like
you're saying Stridebreaker into Tiamat, like both items.
I think you buy both, yeah, because Stridebreaker probably does, what, 200 damage, and then a Titanic proc probably does, like, another 200, 300 damage. So it's just 500 damage on top of a Sundered Sky auto, on top of a kick. Probably just assassinates anybody, and you still have a bunch of health because they're all fighter items.
Yeah, like, maybe. That sounds like something Levi would do, so maybe you have to wait 2 weeks to see this in action.
The tech is gone now as of 14.3. They got rid of it because they talked about it in the patch notes, and I was like, oh, wow, I'm surprised nobody actually ever did that. But, oh, go, Sora. Easy flashes. There's no way easy level's under any threat there, right? Like, there's absolutely no reason. Please. Sora is probably going to get punished for his sins of going over top the wall. Puddin is just going to leave him be, take the ward, and walk away. Draxthar kills...
easy love. Come on. We hit those.
All right. More potential. Spot actually gets kicked back out by Draxthar. That was really well played by Draxthar. Spot also unwilling to go back in with the Viego ultimate until just now, and it does not pay him anything, as Xin is going to get brought down by Jane, who's now out from the turret, as Easy Love, like you said, is the sole survivor after having flashed so early. The rest of the play kind of fell to pieces around him.
Yeah, that's the problem when you play Fasting Sen and your first item boot upgrade and you fall behind. You will not deal any damage the whole game. Did you see him tickle the people in front of him there? He's supposed to be the AD carry. Yeah, sure, he's on support gold income, but he's Senna, so it's fine. But it's not fine if you spend all your gold you have, which is not a lot, on...
Oh! You gotta love Sundered Sky Aatrox, man. Like, what are you supposed to do about it? Now, Xin is fighting against them. There's 3 members. Artifact is here as well. Spot is here as well. You have abandoned the rest of your map, though, gentlemen. I mean, if you don't even gonna get the kill. What, do they chase off Yashino in exchange for Mid Tower and Rift Herald? Like, alright, yeah, this is Rainbow Warriors trying to make plays happen, but I can see why they weren't trying to make things happen in the last game. It's too scattered. It's all over the place, and it's not looking great. Team Flash is just running them around the Rift.
Not looking great is the understatement of the century. This is rough. This is rough to watch. I can't imagine how it must be feeling for them on the stage, knowing that they're going to go 0-10 in game score and not even getting close to taking a single tower in the whole series.
Hey, but you know what? Honestly, my faith in Lee Sin has been restored a little bit by Draxthar. In fact, I think this was the necessary game to remind people that Draxthar is not just kind of like a random, like, to turn a phrase, he's not just a random shitter that's sitting on Flash's roster. Like, he's had very talented moments over the years. He just, there's so many games of quiet or kind of bad play from Draxthar that you kind of miss all of the upside of who the guy is. And this is a perfect game to be like, yeah, remember this guy is actually, like, sometimes a Giga Chad. Mechanically, he is gifted beyond compare, which is the reason he was brought in the first place to start playing. And then more trust was given to him over the years, and slowly he's kind of become I would call him a middling tier jungler. But he is at least a good enough jungler to remain a starter on most rosters. And here you can see he's kind of flexing the Lee Sin skills quite a bit over the course of this game.
Yeah, the president of the Draxthar fan club talking as if he doesn't believe Draxthar is the best jungler in existence.
See, the thing is, I have to build them down so then people invest, right? Like, you invest low and then it gets high. I know his stock is already through the roof, but other people don't know that. So I'm trying to get them to convince, or I'm trying to convince people that the stock is low. It's the same with Kratos. I feel like Kratos' stock is about to go to the moon, so I started that fan club as well. The trick is to just be the fan club leader of every fan club, and then anybody who's ever good, it's just my fan club, so...
True, yeah, it's a good strategy, divide and conquer. Jane's itemization, what do we say to this one? Another Malignance LeBlanc. Oh, Druktha getting caught, but he's so tanky. Rare damage. Hello?
Yeah, we're Volschaden. No Schaden to be found anywhere here, as Team Flash is just going to walk away from that play once again. Again, I think the Malignance LeBlanc, I don't think it's for the damage, I don't think it's for the passive, it has to be for the ult cooldown, and to be honest, that's probably enough to actually warrant buying the item. I'm surprised people are rushing it. That's the only thing, is like, I would think that you would do like Luden's Companion, or you do something else, and then you would buy it, but I'm not shocked that Malignance has made its way into the LeBlanc for the ult cooldown, because it's like, what, 20% ult cooldown or something like
30,
that? Like, imagine...
30.
Plus, it's like a ton
ability
of damage,
yeah.
and it's all about your... I mean, you get double dashes, double chains, double Qs, more. I mean, it's just so much value for LeBlanc for just the ult cooldown alone. I can't imagine it's for any other reason. So, Jane.
It's a really good first item because the components and the cost
makes
it very cheap, and it's very, very comfortable to build, right? So it's
like 2,800 gold. You get mana for the laning phase. Builds out a
Lost
chapter.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's like the bonus damage kind of sucks, but again, being able to double chain more often, being able to double dash more often, it gives you a little more wave clear with that principle too. It's like, okay, I understand the ideas behind it. I just didn't think this was like the build that people were going for. I knew Malignance was an item for LeBlanc. I'm just surprised it's first item all the time, but you're convincing me now like that makes sense. See, and then Jane's going to come out and he's going to build Storm Surge. So it's like, okay, now I'm getting it, because it's like now you can double Q so much more often, especially if he has item cooldown. If Storm Surge is reduced to like 70 seconds, that means basically every 70 seconds you get a guaranteed bonus like 200 damage on a single target, and you're hitting probably 2 sets of ultimate combos during that time with Malignance, which is nice. So I'm getting it. I'm coming around to the Malignance LeBlanc.
Okay, damage.
Yeah. See, Malignance isn't that bad of a damage. I guess I'll be willing to eat my words on this. I really didn't think this was going to become the like mainstay build, but honestly, right there, it's kind of popping off.
Yeah, to be honest, the enemy ejects was 0-3, so with no MR, so I'm not sure if that's
it's not the best. It's not the best sample size, but I'll take it. It's fine.
Yeah, Storm Surge, of course, if you get the kill, it resets the cooldown much earlier. If I remember correctly, it's already up again, so. Let's see if Jane can do it again. Easy left. Oh, no. Oh.
Now I'm getting it. Now I'm understanding. Yeah, see, without Malignance, I don't know that he has his ultimate back, and I don't know that he can do that a second time, like 20 seconds later than he just did it. But with the kill potential reset on Storm Surge, I'm really understanding now, because it's like, okay, item cooldown plus also additional kills, like to reset this faster, and Malignance to give you double ultimates, means you are absolutely just in a, like probably in a much better state as LeBlanc than, like, she's been in a while in terms of itemization.
Yeah, and even if you just get a single stack of Malignance burn thingy on it, it still might actually push that execute range, right? Maybe that's the 8 MR you needed to kill, so maybe it actually pushes LeBlanc over the edge to be able to execute. Of course, once again, we have to stress, she's insanely far ahead, her team is insanely far ahead, so it might not be the best example, but Xin might be dead. Anyway.
Xin has been big brain so many times this game. Yeah. Okay, Spot's gonna get run at underneath the tower. The play's pretty much over. Xin got did now twice by multiple people. He's just getting out-thunk in this game. This is ridiculous. 2T and Yoshino going at it. I don't know how Yoshino was losing that fight, but he was. Well, or I guess maybe not losing, but he certainly wasn't winning the fight destructively. As LeBlanc takes the top tower, they're going to walk at Baron. They're going to take this one pretty easily. And the game should be wrapped up here. I mean, it's 14,000 gold advantage at 20 minutes here your way.
The little hands. Look at the little hands from Baron.
Yeah.
Oh, they look so goofy.
It's something. A little more horror attempt at the Baron. I like the new like pit editions. I don't know what the major difference is between them. I feel like they're more cosmetic for the Barons. Yeah, but are they?
One of the Barons pulls you in. I think last game we had the one that pulls you in. That can actually really mess up your positioning.
I haven't seen it have a massive impact in VCS, but I'm certain that it will eventually have an impact on.
I think the one with the airport. Layout.
The long line,
that one spits like long range attacks, and I've seen people in the back line just comfortably like thinking they can just hit Baron as in prior seasons and just losing to Baron just as a back line. Oh my god, please make it stop.
Oh, Yeah, see, I'm digging it now. I'm understanding. So like LeBlanc has like I've always seen LeBlanc as kind of like a 2-item spike champion, especially like as of late. Way back when she was really good on like Luden's first item. It's basically since she got reworked back to the way she was before the rework. I've seen her as like a 2-item spike. This is the same thing where it's like 2 items. She's probably a beast now, and you're gonna see it again.
I want to see old LeBlanc, where she was just an item carrier station, and see what she does in this season with that kind of LeBlanc.
Okay. Oh, a kick actually hit 3 people right there. Just wasn't quite enough damage to bring down Spot. As LeBlanc's also, or my apologies, 2 members are going to head up. Multiple members are going to head up into the mid lane and crack that as well. As the base is basically in complete shambles, 17k gold advantage at 22 minutes. We're feeling bad. Are we going to big brains in yet again, Drakthar? Is it going to happen? I don't think so. He doesn't have his flash, so unfortunately not going to happen. Poor Zin, man. Twice he's been just absolutely dogged on by somebody on Team Flash with just a random dash, which is pretty funny, but okay. Infernal Dragon, this isn't Soul. They took the first dragon really late in this game. Oh man, it's Rabadon's third for Jane. I'm not looking forward to seeing somebody get absolutely smoked.
You can probably kill 2 Easy Loves in one rotation. Maybe even 3, I'm not sure. But Easy Love has already been exploding for a while, but it's definitely 2 Easy Loves, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's the right play. And just imagine, I mean, again, with the cooldown reduction and everything you're getting with this bonus AP, you don't really need to build cooldown reduction, you just build for your pen. There goes Jane. Or my apologies. No, there goes Spot by Jane. 2T has to flash to avoid Sora.
No Magi is a war crime in this game, no?
What is it?
No Magi's is a war crime. Where's the Magi's?
I mean, Jane wasn't doing insane at the beginning of the game. Maybe the thought was like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to snowball out of control. Yes, I didn't realize I was going to be able to freely farm champions at this point.
He's playing against Rainbow Warriors. He should know.
True. That is very true. This should be the closing fight. Turrets are being attacked by minions exclusively. That was a big knockup by Sora. That's going to be at least the 1 kill. See if they can get Zin. That's a big explosion from Jane yet again. He goes down to the fountain, as that's going to be Easy Love's first kill of the game. It's kind of unfortunate that it was this late and it was in this circumstance. Puddin is pretty low. Actually, multiple members kind of falling low here on the side of Flash, so I imagine Puddin's just going to be the wet blanket and finish up the game, as it's going to be a 2-0 for Flash.
That was the series in the VCS. Rainbow Warriors is a team in the VCS, yes?
I suppose, yeah. I suppose you could say that. Again, if nothing else, in my opinion, I think it just showed up for Flash. Honestly, they kind of needed the confidence boost walking into the break.
It's good for them, yeah.
It was very good, yeah. Puddin and Sora hopefully can kind of get it together, and then like Jane flexed right there. I love that Drakthar was actually flexing in that game. It's so rare to see him like play like that and play very confidently, but Lee Sin's one of the champions he can do it on. So, like I said, for Flash, I think walking into this one, he desperately needed this kind of a win. So,
yeah, and they're now 2 and 3. Yeah, the start wasn't great, but 2 and 3 is still on track to get to playoffs. I mean, honestly, almost everyone is on track to get to playoffs because we have a 16 playoff bracket now for some reason. VCS, why? But in the end, Flash is definitely looking like at least the 6th best team. Maybe they can even fight for spot number 4, because I think, top 4 is really the goal here for the middle of the table teams. Make it over the Vikings, who are also struggling. So I feel like Flash can definitely contest the Vikings. And they are for sure a tier below the top dogs, right? GAM, Team Secret, and Team Wales are at least 1 level above Team Flash for now. But who knows? 2 weeks' time to improve, to get better, more cohesive, better mid-game execution and so on. And we already know their early game is strong enough to contest them. I really hope Flash can come together a bit more in the late game and contest those top teams, because then the league is going to be really fun. If we have 5 teams fighting for the top spots, that's a nice league to watch.
I agree with that, yeah. And again, currently, as far as I see the standings, again, to me, Vikings, Flash are probably competing for like space behind Wales and Secret and GAM. I see them as being a bit of a cut above, especially after today. I think Team Secret really showed it. The real question mark is like, who takes the 6th spot? Because there's like, MBE is there. Cerberus, in theory, has a good enough team to maybe compete. I don't know. It's really tough. Slows has a really good early game. So does Ikigai. Maybe they could turn that into something to smash teams that don't know how to do anything else. Rainbow Warriors, I think, are basically dead in the water, unfortunately, right now. That's fine. I mean, I like it. The interview with Jane, I assume they gave him MVP because he actually played 2 pretty good games. So yeah, I mean, walking into what will be like our first break, we don't have every team having played every single team yet, which does kind of suck. But you know, my biggest question mark, I think, walking into the second half of the season is Vikings.
For sure.
They in theory should be like a top tier team. They should be in the echelon with like Gam and Wales and Secret. Yet they have lost to those three and no one else. So it's like they have been put down to one tier below. Like if those are the A tier, they are definitive B tier at best. But I think they are definitive B tier because they should be better than the remaining teams. I don't know how you feel about that.
Yeah, I mean, I was hyped for this team. Obviously, they have
Mhm.
my favorite player, so of course I'm a big supporter. But they haven't really shown up so far. Hopefully, they can research, get a little bit more time, a little bit more practice, get more ideas, or on the same page as a team with their new coaching stuff, with all the new players on the team. I really hope they can use this time to be a bigger contender, because especially the game I think they played against Flash, right, where they Flash basically just stomped them in week one, and that was concerning to me. I mean, losing against Gamma Wales or Secret, it's not great, but it's kind of expected. Those teams have more history together. You probably need a little bit of time to come together, but you shouldn't be losing to the bottom tier team. So hopefully Vikings can look a little bit stronger after the break. And I mean, Flash, honestly, the more I look at this team and at the lineup, the more I think they are underrated in terms of expectations. I really think this lineup of 5 players, if they get a bit better when it comes to execution in game, their hands are there, and the potential is there as well. I think Yoshino is still a good player, and all the other newer players, Drakthar, Puddin especially, those two are studs for sure. So I think this team has a lot of potential too. So if those two teams can improve, I think our league is looking in really good shape, even when Rainbow Warriors loses every game.
Yeah, it's not defined by our worst team, but it's defined by our middle of the pack teams. That's such as the way of the VCS's. Gam will always win. That is to say, we are going to be done. This is the end of week 3, so I had a lot of fun with Yolway today. It was very early, and I'm very tired, and I was kind of sick. But you know what? It was an enjoyable time nonetheless.
Thank you for your
Next
time,
week there
Rebel.
are no, of course, yeah, there is no. There's no games next week. I think you always alluded to they're taking a break for Lunar New Year, so we're not going to worry about that. So it's now 2 weeks from now. It's actually Saturday 2 weeks from now instead of Thursday. So we're not doing the first 2 days. It is Saturday. That's the 17th. I don't think anybody else is on a wrong calendar or a different calendar, so I can say that accurately. And it's at normal time. We're going to be starting that week off with a couple of games. It's actually Gam versus Rainbow Warriors, so it should be a fun one to kick off that week. So we'll see you in 2 weeks. Hope everybody enjoyed the stream, and we'll see you again next time.